Good Saturday morning to you all. My name is Ryan, and this is Michigan Storm Chasers. Let's go ahead and dive into today's briefing for severe weather today on August 16th. Normally, we do a live stream here, but I am the only one in the office today. We have the entire crew out at Latitude 42 in Portage and Oshtemo. Go ahead and head out there if you're close by. Stay high, stop in. 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. today. Most of the staff's out there. So that means I am in the desk solo covering briefings, severe weather, anything you guys see on the page today will be from yours truly. With that said, let's go ahead and dive into the briefing. So starting with today's current radar as of on your screen, time frame 9:44 a.m. Eastern, we have a statement up here in Presque Isle County. This is going to be just south of Rogers City, heading toward Long Rapids and Presque Isle Township. 40 mile per hour winds and pea-size hail is your threat with this storm that is just south of Belknap here. Further south toward Hillman and Alpena, just some showers, almost a thunder down there. Nothing severe at this current time, but a couple stronger storms possible this morning as well as throughout the day today. We'll get into that in just a minute. Further north in the UP, we have storms popping up toward Hiawatha, Manistee areas, heading east-southeast towards the, we're going to say Mackinac County, probably some Chippewa County areas as well as up here toward Petoskey and Sheboygan areas. We're going to keep an eye on that. Storms are popping up, getting going here. Further downstate, though, West Michigan, radar is clear, and Southeast Michigan, radar is also clear currently. Back to the west, we're going to watch this complex as it moves our direction. It is dying currently, but as it arrives closer to afternoon, some re-intensification of storms is possible. Now, with that said, let's switch over here to the SPC Outlook, and let's go ahead and talk about the future radar, hazards, and timeframes. So, today's a pop-up day. A pop-up day is quite simply a day that pop-up storms are going to be possible. It's hard to depict when, where, and if you are going to be impacted. So, general timeframes, general terms are going to be used, all right? So, let's go ahead and start with the forecast. Per the SPC, we do have a marginal risk currently in place for pretty much all of Michigan, minus that northwest corner of the UP by Houghton, Ironwood areas in that light green color. If you're in dark green, that means you are in a severe risk today. So pretty much 95% of us here in Michigan fall within that risk. Your hazards, damaging wind, 5 to 14% chance of seeing a damaging wind gust within 25 miles of you. So example, Lansing. If you call Lansing your home, you have a 25-mile radius and a 5 to 14% probability that you could see a damaging wind gust within that 25-mile radius around you. So it's a low-end risk today, but still a risk to keep an eye on. Now, hail risk, currently nothing in place here per the SPC in Michigan. It is less than 5%. Hail today, not really a huge concern. And then also tornadoes, not really seeing anything in the state currently, but off to our west across the pond in Wisconsin, we do have a 2%, 2 to 4% to be exact, risk for a tornado over there. If there's going to be anything tornadic today, it's going to have to be on a lake breeze boundary, an outflow boundary, or storm interaction with each other because there's not an abundance of wind shear or spin out there to get storms to rotate by themselves. They got to have some help somewhere. So it's not impossible. We never like to say it's impossible to get a tornado here in Michigan, but if it's going to happen, it's going to have a little help from something in the mesoscale atmosphere. So with that said, damaging wind is your primary concern today. Low end risk. Very low end risk for hail and or a tornado. Going into the future radar, we are going to preface this and say modeled radar is iffy, okay? Let's go ahead and run this through. This is at 8 o'clock. Let's go 9, 10, 11 a.m. here this morning. There's that complex pushing in across Wisconsin. That pushes up into the UP around that noon, 1 o'clock time frame. This is 2 o'clock, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Do take note, this model keeps us dry throughout almost the entirety of the day. I don't know if I buy that. It could be true, sure. But overall, what I'm seeing on radar, the trends and everything I'm kind of putting together here, I think as we get toward that mid-afternoon time frame, pop-up storms are possible as we move toward peak heating. But as we move toward the evening hours, a complex is forecasted to develop over Wisconsin and dive southward that could brush the West Michigan area. We're going to keep a close eye. We're going to say from Ludington over to, we'll just say around 131, and then down here further south toward the Indiana border, like Kalamazoo, Battle Creek areas. keep a close eye on that, as the main complex here is going to dive south, and that could bring some gusty, perhaps some damaging winds toward that southwest Michigan shoreline area. So we're going to watch that carefully. This is at midnight tonight, mind you, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Got some storms ongoing across the Thumb region as well. Overall, a stormy day is in store for us, with a centered time frame later on this evening, as this complex could dive a little bit further south. It also could arrive earlier. We have a lot of stuff that are moving parts with this day. So we have a lot to track here. Going back to the radar here, we're going to keep a close eye on this complex over here, Wisconsin, because if this plows through Michigan, and it does plow through Michigan, for example, that may suck the instability out for later on tonight. So there's a lot of moving parts here we're going to keep a close eye on, but just general takeaway, storms are possible today as early as, in some places, right now this morning, but further downstate for the majority of the population, focus on afternoon and especially into the evening time frame for pop-up storms and perhaps an organized line coming out of Wisconsin towards that West Michigan shoreline. So that is your takeaway. Damaging winds primary. Large hail tornadoes are not expected today, but never can be ruled out on these sneaky pop-up severe days. With that said, risks for tomorrow, we do have a marginal risk in store for Berrien County. General thunderstorms possible for Sunday. Wouldn't be shocked if we get added more into a severe risk for your Sunday time frame. And then Monday as well, yet another risk is in place. Sorry, I got to flip this over. Here's Monday's risk. Here's Sunday. Start Sunday. Here's Sunday's risk. Marginal further south. Berrien County's clipped by that. And then Monday, that risk is back in the state. So perhaps back-to-back days here of severe weather in Michigan. With that said, I'll be watching behind the scenes here, keeping you guys updated. I'll see you guys later today, likely for severe weather coverage here in the state of Michigan.